fair.
Well, that part's fair, but no quarterback at any point in NFL history would be the golden boy if they were up against this version of Patrick Mahomes, who just happens to be playing the position at the highest level it's ever been played by any person. It's not hyperbole. It's not recency bias. It's obvious to the stats and to your eyes. But I think this is more about Rodgers and less about Mahomes. So set aside maybe the most talented quarterback ever, Mahomes, to talk about maybe the second most talented quarterback ever, Aaron Rodgers. The numbers are on your side here, Colin. This year, while the Packers are 3-0, they're averaging 270 yards of offense, 19 points, and they're 30th in the league in third down conversions. Maybe I am holding on to a lost time, but I am still holding on to hope and belief that Aaron Rodgers is not out of his prime, that Aaron Rodgers missed a preseason game he was supposed to play in because his back tightened up, then was supposed to play in the next one, but the field in Canada was shoddy, that he's a little rusty, there's a new offense, they're still getting these young wide receivers into the flow of things. The reason I picked the Packers to go to the Super Bowl was because I loved their defense, and I believe Rodgers at some point this year will get back to being Aaron Rodgers. But much like I heard you say of Jay Gruden, I can't prove it, I just believe it. I can't prove in the last 3 years that Aaron Rodgers is still one of the 3 best quarterbacks in football. I just truly believe it. And I think we'll see it starting Thursday night.
New England seemed unbeatable, but might as well gloat. You picked Buffalo to make the playoffs. I have them number 7 in my... Yes. Okay. I think in the history of the NFL, if you have a great staff, they do. If you have a really good defense, they do. And if you've upgraded your weakness O-line, you're fighting for a playoff spot. I think they can beat New England this weekend. So go ahead and gloat. What did you see that most of us did not?
Well, I saw an easy path to 3-0, which with a young team, with a very raw quarterback, getting the season started off right is critically important. I saw what the whole world sees right now, which is 9 wins going to get you in the playoffs in this AFC. I saw Chargers and Steelers teams that I didn't think would win their division and I didn't think would be wild card teams. So who are you going to put there? And now you do have a really intriguing matchup with the Patriots. The Bills can't win the division, obviously. But can they beat the Patriots at home? Maybe. The Pats have been great this year, no doubt. They've also played literally the worst schedule imaginable outside of the Dallas Cowboys in the league thus far. So there's a reason that Bill Belichick didn't want to cut Antonio Brown even after those witness intimidation texts came out. There's a reason they let him practice that Friday and then, for some reason or another, waited to cut him until Friday afternoon. It's because he knows offensive line, IR center, IR left tackle, full receiver on IR. Edelman now's got a chest injury. Josh Gordon's banged up. They thought they needed Antonio Brown. The defense is spectacular in New England. The offense, not what it was last year. And so, yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if this is the Bills up 20-17 going into the fourth quarter, and we see if Brady can pull it out.
Now, whether or not, I've always said Cam is Westbrook. I can't deny his iconic stature, his talent. I'd pay to watch him play. He's had one great season where he got his team to the finals, but I don't think he elevates players around him. So instead of arguing, I don't like Cam as much as you do, I'm gonna pose this, that it is getting easier for the new owner of Carolina to move off Cam Newton. Kyle Allen's good. Cam's not winning. Injuries or not. You could bail on him after the season, and it wouldn't cost you a ton. It wouldn't be a ridiculous cap hit. They've got a bunch of young receivers and backs. Kyle Allen's young, and the new owner doesn't give a rip about an MVP season when he was a co-owner of the Steelers. Could I at least argue that if Kyle Allen, over the next 6 games, and look at it, he faces a lot of average secondaries, goes 5-1, you can at least in Carolina bring back Cam, end of the year, tougher schedule struggles. It's getting easier, Nick, to move off Cam in the next year.
Of course it's getting easier, and we have to see if Cam gets healthy. But you threw in there at the end a yada yada that I'm not ready to just concede. Kyle Allen's going 5-1. Kyle Allen, who the Carolina Panthers had so much faith in after having him in the building last year, after he starts Week 17, they go out and draft Will Grier in, I think, the 4th round of this year's draft. I've never seen a quarterback, especially not a blue-chip prospect. Kyle Allen had been a blue-chip prospect since high school, get so much run over one really good game against one really bad defense in Arizona. Let me see Kyle Allen go 5-1 first. Now, Carolina might want to move off of Cam, and if he doesn't get healthy, then I will understand that to a degree. But we do not live in a world with enough quality quarterbacks where Cam Newton is not clearly, when healthy, an upper half at the very least starting quarterback in this league. And Kyle Allen might be the 3rd best quarterback on the Panthers roster. Maybe they discovered something in the 6th round a couple years ago, and he's just now blossoming into the player that once was the #1 high school football player in the country. But I think nationally, and certainly regionally in the Carolinas, a lot of the Kyle Allen love is actually Cam Newton hate being disguised as Kyle Allen love.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if people really love this guy or they're just ready and wanting someone different than Cam.
Does it bother you before you go? I'm looking at the PFF rankings this morning. They ranked all the quarterbacks, and it must,
oh my God.
It must irk you to realize it's almost Tom Brady is #1 and Patrick Mahomes is 6. Does that make you angry?
Yeah. I like the folks at PFF. I know some of those guys. I think it's a great story. Some blokes from Ireland start a company. It's now a multi-conglomerate. I think it's great. But I don't have a lot of rules in life, but here's one of them. If I have a fancy algorithm, a nice, cool formula, and I input all my data, and it spits out to me that there have been 5 quarterbacks better than Patrick Mahomes, you throw out the algorithm. This is along the same lines of your former employer once upon a time created a new way to grade quarterbacks, and it was going to revolutionize things. And the algorithm they had said the 3rd greatest quarterback game of all time was a Charlie Batch game where he had 160 yards passing. That's when you know there's a fly in the soup, people. And if Patrick Mahomes, having played the Jags and the Ravens and being 1st in rating, 1st in yards, 1st in touchdowns, 1st in everything, is the 6th best quarterback, your rating system stinks. And I say that respectfully.
Nick Wright, first things first. You have yourself a good Wednesday there, chap. It's good seeing you, buddy.
You too. Talk to you later.
Yeah, he makes a very compelling point.
I did think of Nick when I saw that this morning.
I saw it the first thing I thought.
Maybe because I don't think he would freak out about Brady being 1st, but Dak being 2nd, yeah.
That's funny. That made me laugh. Okay. So Pro Football Focus came out. They ranked all the quarterbacks. And by the way, they do this on, they grade everything. Interceptions are not always the quarterback's fault. Tough throws, easy. They don't give you credit for every completion. It is incredibly thorough. And I can't top what Nick just did. Al Michaels, top of the hour. But I will tell you what I took out of the grading system. And it wasn't the top guy or the bottom guy. It was 2 guys in the middle. That's next.